What is going on, everyone? Badger here. Yesterday, with the assassination of Charlie Kirk, it was a come to Jesus moment for a lot of people in the country. A lot of people on the left have realized just how far some of their compatriots and comrades have fallen. Those ones still have souls, they're savable, and they've all disavowed and said, look, we can't go down this path anyway. Everyone that doubled down is essentially an enemy of me and every American citizen. No more games. Gloves are coming off. For 10 years, 10 years plus, the mainstream media has been calling Trump and all of his supporters demons and Nazis. That is essentially just giving the green light to unalive them. And we finally saw people take up that challenge, that gauntlet. And no longer. Extreme repercussions need to start happening. The green lighting and calling your political opponents Nazis and fascists just because they literally not and in no way could fit any definition therein. That needs to end today, and people need to start losing their jobs. And all credit to DC Detective Comics last night for within hours of the writer of Red Hood saying what they said, because God knows this is another troon monster that probably will jump up while they look pretty fat, but they'll climb up slowly onto a roof and try to do some horrible shit too, because they have been so propagandized, so inundated with the belief excuse that words are violence, and if words are violence, I can use actual violence against you, that we get what we've gotten. And so Gretchen Felkner Martin, who on September 10th, 2025 said, keep seeing people TW Red Hood #1 for suicide, and for the life of me, I could not figure out why until I remembered it opens with a bunch of cops shooting themselves. I just don't really consider them people. So then right there, right? These are also the same people that unironically left Twitter because it was too toxic and say that punk rock is the new kindness. They said this after the assassination of Charlie Kirk on that Utah campus. She said, thoughts and prayers, you Nazi bitch, because again, you're allowed to, even though he has never said one Nazi thing, he's about God and family and biological reality and all the things that they don't like to hear. She said, hope the bullet's okay. Hope the bullet's okay after touching Charlie Kirk. So this person right here, there is a clear and present danger to America, and it is everyone that thinks like this. And I'm tired of mincing words. Gone is the hyperbolic statements, hyperbole, whatever. You were just exaggerating. The people that genuinely think Trump and MAGA and his supporters are Nazis are a danger to every American citizen. And I'm going to be screaming that at the top of my lungs until it's dealt with one way or another. Thank the gods, though. Within hours, and right before I went to sleep, I saw Gary share this. DC Comics has canceled that after those abhorrent, disgusting comments. You see here, DC Comics, DC stands for Detective Comics, so Detective Comics cancels Red Hood comic book series. The first issue of the 17 plus rated Batman spinoff comic book series went on sale September 10th. But DC Comics has informed retailers that orders for all future issues have been canceled. This was going to be a shit show to begin with, and when you hear that person talk about what they think, you can tell what we were going to see in here. It's on the same day that the first issue of the Mature Readers Red Hood series was released in comic book stores. DC Comics has announced that it is canceling orders for all future issues of the series, and will additionally be offering credit for all orders placed by retailers on the first issue, including any copies that may have already been sold to customers. And when asked, I'm actually very proud of DC. I don't care if this was political, the fact that they actually said it. When contacted for reasons behind the cancellation, DC Comics provided the following statement. DC Comics, we place the highest value on our creators and community and affirm the right to peaceful, individual expression of personal viewpoints. Posts or public comments that can be viewed as promoting hostility or violence are inconsistent with DC standards of conduct. And that is what we've got. Going forward, I don't know how we move on. The world is different today than it was yesterday, at least in America. It's going to get real unpleasant for a while. But on the barest level, please, even if you don't agree with your political opponents, you got to stop calling people Nazis and fascists and all of that, because again, it's a disservice to the actual Nazis and fascist behavior, of which the left that uses that term was guilty of a lot of it. Lockdowns, possibly forced vaccines and things like that. Those are all fascistic ideas. God and country and not transing up the children and all of that. Those are just common sense that we're seeing echoed around the world. So just to begin with, stop. And the people that continue to call their political opponents Nazis and fascists, you are just calling for them to be murdered. That is hate speech, death speech, and we will be reporting and shining the light on you accordingly. Shout out to DC for doing this, because the mainstream media for 10 years has been advocating and weaponizing half of the country. And we saw it come to fruition in the biggest way possible on that state campus. And it can't go on any longer, because I promise you, you won't like what happens when the other half that was turning the cheek stops turning the cheek. Let me know what you think about all this. By all means, make sure to like, share, and sub. If you have done that, thank you. If you are going to do that, thank you.
Well, bye.